Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cohen II, and with me, as always,
Sesame, Frost, and Cardo.
that's a very seasonal name. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
'Tis the season to be frosty.
Yeah. And there's also the season to watch the Frost-Nixon debate.
Yeah, I watched that movie. I don't know. I watched Frost Nixon. I think I watched the wrong movie.
Oh, well, shoot. Okay. I never watched it. I've watched the actual debate.
Yeah.
We could talk about that. But,
The Frost Nixon movie is actually good, but I kept waiting for like one of them to turn into a snowman, and it never happened. I was like,
oh.
Yeah.
You know, what'd be funny, too, is that Nixon would be the one that turned into a snowman, not Frost, which you'd think, because
Oh, yeah.
Frost. But no, it was like they kind of did a little flip on you, so.
Yes, it's
Yeah. Oh boy.
But no, really, I did watch the movie. So, in my life, I've always hoped that I would see a movie with 3 of Frank Zappa's kids, a January 6th insurrectionist, a singing and sometimes frozen Batman, and Henry Rollins in his most punk rock thing he's ever done. That was my thought after seeing the movie. I'm like, yeah.
Who's the January 6th insurrectionist?
It is Jay Johnston. He plays the TV weatherman. I saw him and I was just like, oh, wait, that's the guy from Mr. Show who was a January 6th insurrectionist.
Oh, that dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was, he played like that one scene where they're like all playing poker together and they're all like talking about like their big New Year's resolutions or whatever.
Yeah, he was in a lot of sketches. He was a main cast member of Mr. Show, but it's just like, but yeah, he somehow went from being associated with people like Bob Odenkirk and David Cross who hate Donald Trump to being a January 6th insurrectionist. I'm just like, what the...
That's so wild. Like, it reminds me too of like the guy, speaking of Frost, the founder of the metal band Iced Earth was there as well. And it was like just so wild to me because, like, you know, I used to listen to like Iced Earth a lot when I was younger, when I was getting into like metal music and stuff like that. And, you know, I had to listen to them for like decades at that point. But then when I heard about that, I was just like, what the hell is going on with America?
And things are just getting better, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You could say they're getting frostier and they're solidifying and
and coming back to life.
Yeah, I guess. But with really interesting animation style.
Yeah, as you know from the title, we're covering the 1998 film Jack Frost, starring Michael Keaton, Kelly Preston, Joseph Cross, Mark Addy, Henry Rollins, Mika Borum, Andrew Lawrence, Taylor Handley, and a bunch of other people. Yeah, and a cameo from a January 6th insurrectionist. You know, like every good film needs.
That's what they should do when they, you know, like if they re-release it and they do like a special edition, they should say, and a special
Cameo.
page from a January 6th insurrection. Just have that in like the credits.
Every good family comedy needs a January 6th insurrectionist in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen with some of these like family films coming to Bent Key or something, you know.
That would be a good idea.
The Daily Wire's, kids output. Yeah.
Oh God! Or it could be like an actual like National Lampoon or something like that, where it actually turns out where like a family was. Oh, this is a good idea. We probably shouldn't talk about whatever. Yeah. But like basically, it'd be like it's okay. We have the idea first. It's on document.
Oh my gosh, I like this idea. I think I know where you're going.
So basically, it's a family who's like there to like just like visit the Capitol on that day. They have no idea. So then like they get caught up in the insurrection. And then, like they get like one of the people who gets like interrogated, arrested for being part of the insurrection. No one's allowed to steal this idea. This is true. This is just as good as a contract. So
I like this. I think we need to write an outline and stuff for this soon. I think we could make
Ed Helms play like the dad or something, or I don't know. And then
he was in that Vacation movie, so
that's why I was thinking of that. Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, like to see that. You know, it'd be like Accidental Insurrectionist or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, something like that, or My Insurrectionist Family.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Our Insurrectionist Vacation. I don't know. We can workshop this. Anyways, back to this great family film.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, this movie it was actually made, and I got another little backstory here too. So the year before this came out, there was another movie called Jack Frost, which was a horror film.
Yeah.
And so when I worked at Blockbuster Video, something I'm not too proud of, and I know a lot of people at video stores across the country did this when this happened. I would sometimes switch the tapes or the DVDs in the cases.
Wow.
Just to see if anybody noticed.
Yeah, like, wait a minute.
I was really hoping more that the people getting the horror film would get the Michael Keaton film. You know,
exactly. They're like, God damn it, what is this?
You're watching it for a little while, and you're like, wow, Michael Keaton's in this. That's interesting. When are they going to start killing people?
Although, if you shot this movie just a little bit different, this could have been a horror movie.
Oh yeah,
like a snowman stalking his family. I
mean, there's child abuse in it. There's different things. Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly.
So, okay, a little bit background here on the production of this film. So, the costume for Jack Frost, the snowman in snowman form, was created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. George Clooney was originally set to star as Jack Frost, and they made the character look like Clooney before Clooney left the project. By the way, to do Batman and Robin.
Oh boy,
another Frozen failure, and so yeah. Basically, the snowman's face and the way he moves his mouth and everything is based on Clooney's face, not on Keaton's. A different Batman, you know. They were both Batman, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. Other things too. Before we get into it, there were Kurt Russell, Billy Bob Thornton, Dennis Quaid, and Kevin Costner were all considered for the role of Jack Frost.
Wow. So I could see
and Tim Allen and Mel Gibson were also considered.
I could see Tim Allen because he was in like those Santa Claus movies.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell would have been. I think he could have pulled that off.
I'd have liked to see Billy Bob.
Billy Bob definitely. I mean, he was in Bad Santa later on, but
also the whole musical aspect of it. Billy Bob Thornton's an actual singer and musician, so it would have.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. Okay.
I mean, as is Michael Keaton. He recorded all the music that the singing, at least, that he did for this movie, so.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. That's the other thing, too. I was hoping for a little bit more music in this movie, considering that his character was a musician.
I was hoping for some kind of, like, really cool, like, after he died, like, tribute to him or something from some different, like, maybe have some cameos. Like they talk on the TV like there's a, I don't know, when did Stevie Ray Vaughan die?
Oh, I think it was in the 80s.
Oh, so it was before this, but like they show. I mean, they could have used some other guitarist or something like that instead of showing a thing saying, "Oh yeah, he once played with Stevie Ray Vaughan." They could have actually shown him playing with a musician. There were several musicians in the movie not playing musicians, including the Zappas and Henry Rollins. You know, it's
Yeah, Henry Rollins, obviously, he could have done like a punk rendition of one of their songs or something.
or something they could have. I mean, it didn't have to be. I'm just saying that they cast musicians in roles that were of non-musicians. So it was like Moon Zappa was a teacher, and one of the other Zappas was the snowplow driver and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, you could have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta say this though. I think Henry Rollins plays a suburban sports dad perfectly.
Oh yeah, he was good.
Like he's a great actor, really. He is.
Yeah.
Like everything I've seen him in, I've never been like disappointed, you know.
No.
Anyway, that's a whole other subject.
It's just really weird to watch him though, because you still have the whole like, you know, this was the Black Flag singer, and in your head, you know.
This was I think he was the second Black Flag singer.
Yeah.
He joined. Anyway, there's a whole YouTube video about
he was in the band for like 3 years or something, but still,
he would have been there a long time, but like people still associate that band with him.
Yeah, but then you know, everything he's done since too, like, you know, the Henry Rollins band and his spoken word stuff and everything like that, and just it's hard to separate that from him as an actor too, sometimes, in my mind.
Yeah.
So you're just sitting here. He's just a dad in the suburbs.
Yeah.
But you know, I would still I'd pay for a full movie about Henry Rollins as a dad in the suburbs.
That would be pretty cool. That should be the name of the insurrection movie, Suburban Sports Dad, or Suburban Insurrectionist, or something like that. Whatever. It or Suburban Commando Part 2. It's like things get real.
Yeah. Oh boy,
I don't know.
Anyway, so what were your thoughts? I mean, basically, you thought this was weird, right?
I thought it was weird, but mainly because it felt like there was like 3 different types of movies going on at the same time. Like some of the scenes felt like for example, there's like a snowboarding scene that goes on for like 5 straight minutes, and so I'm thinking, oh, I'm watching a snowboard movie, because, you know, early 2000s, that was like a popular, you know, genre at that time. You know, like snowboarding was pretty huge at then, because that was right when, what's his name, that dude who won the Olympics, snowboarding became like a
big Sean whatever.
Sean White.
Sean White.
Yeah, Sean White, which is another good name for a pun, because, you know, he snowboards. And so, like, you know, snowboarding pretty much became like, you know, a huge sport because of that. And I don't know, there's just like stuff in it that just felt like some of these scenes were good and stuff. It just felt like they belonged like in a different movie. Like when like they're doing the musician stuff, it just felt like a different type of movie was going to happen, and then suddenly we get into this other style, and then it kind of just jumps back and forth. And I don't know, I guess it was just like definitely a movie of its times. I mean, like the soundtrack was very 2001 type of, or was it the 2000s or not, late 90s?
It was 98.
Oh, okay, 98. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just was kind of disoriented a little bit from watching that, because I couldn't really decide like what type of movie this was.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it felt like a family Christmas movie mixed with a really bad Disney Channel movie.
Yeah,
mixed in with some random MTV movie or something. You know, it's just really weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyways, what goes on in this movie?
Oh boy. So Michael Keaton plays a character named Jack Frost, and he has a band. He leads a band called the Jack Frost Band, and they're like a really good band, but they never really made it big yet. And it looks like they're finally getting a little bit of traction. You know, their song gets played on the radio, like the local radio station, because someone was at the concert that night who was like, I guess, part of like the record industry or whatever. And you know, typical story of a, you know, working dad who's not home a lot, so it's, you know, doesn't spend much time with his family, that whole thing. So he promised he was gonna go to his son's hockey game, but he didn't make it because he was in the studio all day, and he said he was gonna make it, but then lost track of time, and then he realized that it was 2.5 hours after the game. So then, you know, he came home and was pretty much gonna like face the music, whatever. No, face the music.
Pun intended.
And so then he, you know, his wife kind of, you know, digs into him a little bit. He apologized.
Yeah, his wife is played by the late Kelly Preston. So yeah.
Oh, okay, Kelly Preston. What else was she in?
She was in Jerry Maguire. She's in a few other things. She was married to John Travolta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I should have mentioned, too, that there's a Scientologist in this film. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah. And you got the insurrectionist, and it's like,
So an insurrectionist and a Scientologist walk into a bar.
Yeah. What's going to happen? I don't know. They're going to get
with Henry Rollins.
And Henry Rollins is the bartender.
Yeah.
And he gives them like a straight talking to or whatever.
Yeah.
Straight edge. Yeah. What is he working in the bar? He's a straight edge. He doesn't drink. Whatever. And then that's why he's a bartender. He tries to convince people not to drink.
Yes.
He's like, hey, you can have fun without drinking, bro. How about I give you like some ginger ale or something, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then he does.
Here, have a Shirley Temple. Here you go.
Yeah, Shirley. There you go. I actually like those. That's pretty good.
Me too.
Yeah. That's pretty much the only thing I ever drink anymore. There's alcohol involved. I'm just like, okay, cool. And then because alcohol makes my tummy hurt. Anyway, so he apologizes to Charlie, and then basically blames being a musician, blames him being a musician as him being a bad father, I guess. And so we got a lack of taking accountability. That's the first part of the abuse in this film. There's much more child abuse in this film, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different professions you could have and still not spend time with your kid, and you could be a musician who finds time to spend with this kid. He,
instead of looking inward and trying to be a better father, he blames being a musician on. Anyway, so then he promises again this time to take the family up to a cabin that they own. So I guess they're doing okay money wise. They got a cabin, as well as a house.
It's always funny in these types of movies. You have this suburban, like middle class family that are supposedly struggling with stuff, but yet they have like a vacation home.
Well, that's why you got to sell the vacation
exactly.
home. And then you won't have the money troubles. But like you're biting off more than you can chew there, Anyway, so he gives Charlie harmonica that he bought the day that Charlie was born. And so I guess even at that time, he was deciding not to be in the hospital with his wife while she's giving birth to their one and only son. Instead, just wanders around a music store across the street looking at various instruments. And, so then so they bought that. And then he gave it I think he gave that before the hockey game, actually. So he gave that before the hockey game.
Yeah.
And then said it got magical properties to it, which is, maybe you shouldn't say that to a 10-year-old child who's already having issues with, parental stuff of not being there, whatever, you giving them false hope or whatever. Okay. And so he says it's got magical properties and that if Charlie plays the harmonica, Jack will hear it no matter where he's at. So that's the important part of this whole story of this movie. It's that right there.
My dad did that when I was a kid. I don't know about you.
What, the harmonica thing?
Yeah, well, actually, he gave me. My dad used to work at a cosmetics factory, so he gave me this bottle of nail polish, and he said, anytime you put this on, I'm joking.
I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. Wasn't your dad like a bartender?
No, he did work at a cosmetics factory. When I was a kid, yeah.
Okay, I was like...
He was a floor supervisor at the cosmetics factory.
So. Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he became a bartender later on and stuff, but yeah. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, God. And then he promised...
That'd have been more problematic, though, if my dad was a bartender when I was a kid and he gave me, like, a bottle of beer. He says, anytime you drink this...
the bottle of whiskey, anytime you take a sip of it, I'll hear you or something. Because you'll be laughing extra hard at whatever you're watching on TV or something. I don't know. Yeah. And then so he promises them to take him to the cabin. And of course, just as they're about to get in the car, the phone rings. We're talking landline here, okay, folks?
Yeah, because they said when they were going to go to the cabin, this is before cell phones were like big. So it was like, the only cell phones at that time were like slightly better models of Zach Morris's phone. And
exactly.
Maybe a little better. I don't know. But anyways,
not by much.
Yeah. And then So they're leaving, and of course the phone rings right as they're leaving, just, film convenience.
Right.
Yeah, and they basically, the phone rings and Charlie answers it and, gives it to his dad, and there's like some kind of bigwig record executive that wants to hear the band. So, yeah. And it has to be the next day.
Yep, has to be.
Yeah, because the best time to go and, schedule time to listen to bands around the country is at Christmas.
Except on Christmas Day. Like, you don't think the record executive would also want to spend time with their family on Christmas? Like, no, I hate my family, so I'm going to work today. And I'm going to make everyone else drop what they're doing so that they can spend time with me as I work, because I'm a selfish piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, if he's such a selfish piece of shit, he might not even have a family, though, too, so.
Well, true. That's probably no friends either. Oh, boy.
And he never had a dad who gave him a magical harmonica, so.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Actually, he gave him a magical saxophone instead.
Oh, okay.
That was a little bit too big to cart around. Harmonica's pretty easy. You can just slip it in your pocket. You can't really put a saxophone in your pocket.
Is that a saxophone in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Oh, no.
Well, I have to wait saxophone. Now my pants are ripping because it's too much. Now I got to go buy a whole new pair of jeans because I can't fit this damn instrument in my pocket.
I mean, there was that other dad who gave his kid a stand-up bass. That was even...
Yeah, it was even harder.
The other one who gave his kid a baby grand piano.
Yeah, that was kind of hard to watch. And he had to basically put that around his shoulder and just kind of drag that, around the wheel.
Like the time I told a cop when I was in the music building at UT late at night, one time with a friend who was showing me around, and this campus police officer came and found us in there and asked us what we were doing. He's like, "Well, I don't know if you're trying to steal some instruments or something in here." And I said, "Yes, officer, I have a baby grand in my back pocket." He didn't find that funny at all.
No.
So anyways. So yeah, he gets called into this thing. He ends up like driving up to the cabin or up to the gig or whatever with his buddy Mac, played by Mark Addy. People know him best from Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas.
Or Still Standing.
Yeah, Still Standing was an amazing show. I like that show.
TV show, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But no, I'm just joking, saying that it's best known. He was also in the Full Monty. So
yeah, exactly. It's like a classic, Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, his buddy Mac, he's driving with him and to the gig thing, or whatever, and the band is following in another car, and he keeps talking about things, and then Mac basically tells him, he talks him into like, you just got to go be with your family, sort of thing. So he's driving there, and Mac tells him, take the car. He takes the car, and Mac rides with the rest of the band to, they're going over to one of the buddies' houses because their mom's making a Christmas dinner for them. And so there was something on his windshield or something, or like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he ended up getting in a car accident off of an overpass or whatever or something, and then died. Yeah. And then the movie ended. That was a weird movie.
It was pretty much no resolution. That's the other thing that kind of surprised me. So like, I'm sure that the entire band would have been thrilled that this was going to be their big break. And then the leader of the band decides to leave. They're like, awesome, we're just going to go over and have Christmas dinner at my mom's house. Like, they were just not upset at all about like not getting a record deal, not becoming rich and famous. They're like, yeah, you go to see your family, brother. I mean, they might understand, but like, they're like treating and shit like that.
My theory is that they thought, well, hey, we're going to talk the record executive into hearing us another time or something. That was
okay.
That's my theory. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
But after he dies, anyways, Mac ends up losing interest in music altogether. So yeah.
Yeah, we don't hear much about the other members of the band.
No, we don't hear anything about them the rest of the movie.
Yeah, they're just like gone.
Yeah.
And what happened was it was the windshield wiper kept getting stuck.
That's right. I knew it was something with the windshield. I just
So normal person would think, hey, it's snowing pretty heavily out here. Maybe I should pull the car over, a little bit and kind of wait for things to settle down or just indefinitely and then, if your family's still mad at you when you come back and say, hey, actually, I was driving back, but there was a huge snowstorm, so I decided not to die trying to get there, and your family's still mad at you. Maybe that's not a good family to have at that point. Showed up a day late, but you're still alive. And they're like, nope, promised to be here exactly on Christmas Day, and that's you being dead and trying to get here on time is better than you being alive and being like 12 hours late.
And then the wife, right, when he gets there, because he was late, she like opens up her jacket and pulls out some divorce papers and says, yes, and I'm asking for full custody of the kid. And
that's and then he goes back to the becomes famous, so I guess that's a happy ending. He's got Charlie on the weekends, Well,
no, she's just taking full custody. She doesn't want him to see.
Oh, I see. So he can visit him every now and then, supervise visitation. He gives him another harmonica to try to make him feel, but I don't know.
Gives him a harmonica every time he sees him, and so he's like
every time. So it's like 12 harmonicas.
He's like, Dad, my closet's full of harmonicas. Stop this.
You can at least give me a different instrument this time. I don't know. Give me a guitar or something, Oh boy. And can I just say something too? Not to be mean, but I would think Jack Frost was the least important member of that band. I mean, he plays a harmonica. Everyone else is like jamming on the keyboards, doing these crazy guitar solos.
I mean, he was the singer, but still
not that great of a singer, in my opinion.
No, me either. So my thing is that band could have continued on, changed their name, and gotten
totally without him. Yeah,
I mean, they could have just had Mark Addy sing, or not his character Mac sing instead, or somebody else. So
Yep. But he founded the band, so I guess there's that sort of charismatic aspect to it. He leads them, so they kind of need him for that sort of leadership. I mean, whatever.
And plus, in the history of music, no band has ever continued with a new singer. Oh wait.
Oh no, never ever. That's never happened once. Like Bad Company, Black Sabbath,
Van Halen.
Van Halen. I think Queen, but that was after Freddie Mercury died. Alice in Chains. I think at one point, who?
Journey.
Yeah, Journey. Bunch of bands, whatever. And then
Sticks. It goes on and on. Yeah.
I think Stone Temple Pilots at one point had a different singer. Yeah. No, that's a lot of bands.
They did have a different lead singer, and then he died too.
Oh, really?
Stone Temple Pilots had that guy from Linkin Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was their new lead singer, and then
oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. So anyway, a year goes by, and then what happens?
So one night after, Charlie's been just really depressed for a whole fucking year. Not saying he wouldn't be, but still.
Especially like Christmas, though, because that's when his dad died in the car.
Well, yeah, earlier in the movie, there was like this big snowball fight with these bullies and stuff, and he was protecting this little girl that like seemed to have a crush on him or something. So yeah,
that was like the movie aspect of it.
Yeah,
Disney Channel or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And or it kind of reminded me of that Christmas Project movie we watched last year.
Oh God! Oh God!
Yeah,
we're going elving. We're going elving tonight. It's not a real thing.
There's a sequel to that movie.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Anyway, so I almost chose that as this week's movie, but I chose this instead.
Oh my God! Yeah.
So, anyways, one night he builds a snowman and he pulls out this box. It's got his dad's, scarf and hat on it from the snowman that they made before. And, so he builds a snowman, puts his dad's scarf and hat on it, and then goes into his bedroom. And also in the box was that harmonica.
Oh.
So he plays the harmonica and da-da-da, we've got a live snowman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that night, Mac is watching the kid at the house, and but he's like sleeping, and he can't be woken up for some reason, Charlie sees the snowman walking around, and he's coming up to the window and saying, Charlie, let me in, blah blah blah, and all this other stuff, and he blocks the door so nobody can get in with everything, including Mac and a lazy boy.
Yeah,
that he doesn't wait. He's moved across the room and he doesn't wake up.
Typical TV convenience. Oh, he's sleeping so hard he can't.
Yeah.
And also too, when Jack became the snowman, it looked like they spent like $100 million of effects just on that one scene. And then like the rest of the effects are terrible in the movie. Like all this weird like laser shit like circling around, the snowman to put Jack's soul into the snowman, I guess.
Which I didn't even really find that impressive either. So
but for me, it looked kind of cool for 1998. I was like, oh my God, it's pretty interesting effects. And then the rest of the movies, even the way a snowman walks is kind of creepy and weird and scary looking. And
my thing is, it's like they said it's a costume. So, I mean, this is like a similar, at this time, they had Jim Henson's Creature Shop that made the snowman had already done things like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies where they did the turtles, and they had done other movies like this too where they made creatures, people to come to life. I mean, I believe they may have also worked on, no, I don't know if they did. I think it was somebody else that worked on Howard the Duck, but that's another story. Anyways, what I'm saying is they already knew how to do this stuff pretty well. And it wasn't too bad, but the thing is, they say it's a costume. So my thing is there like a little stuntman or actor inside that snowman? Yeah.
That'd be creepy.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. But anyways, so he turns, his mom comes home. This is after Jack the snowman gets taken away on from a snowplow down the street. And you'd think he'd die from that. That's just me.
As long as he's got the head, apparently it's fine.
And the snowplow driver is played by one of the Zappas. It's Ahmet Zappa is the snowplow driver.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he basically, so the mom comes home and he's trying to explain what happened and why Mac's in front of the door and all this shit. The next day, what happens then? It was like something. There was like a snowball fight thing or something going on.
So it was the next day. So Charlie doesn't believe that the snowman's his dad, even though he's got the same voice. And what's hilarious is that he finally realizes it's his dad because his dad said the totally unique name no one's ever thought of before is Charlie Boy. Yep. He's like, oh, I know it's my dad now because he said Charlie Boy. Like, I can understand if it's like some really unique name that no one would come up. Like if your nickname was like, Lamp or Stereo System or something like that. Like, oh yeah, no one's gonna know that. But like
the following year, there's an unmade sequel to this movie where Charlie goes on the internet and some child predator targets him and calls him Charlie Boy randomly. And he thinks it's his dad. And then he's abducted and murdered. So yeah.
No.
Mate.
That got really dark.
I know.
Got really dark. So he calls him Charlie Boy, and he's like, "Oh, that's my dad now." And then, they to this, this huge snowball fight because the bully, doesn't want to pick on him anymore because he's no fun to pick on because he's always depressed.
Yeah.
And then you should get over it already. I didn't even know my dad. I'm like, oh, okay. And then how could you get over something that you never had though? So I don't really understand that. Well, I guess technically I kind of do, but whatever. And then so Jack throws a snowball at him, and then he thinks it's Charlie. So then he's like, "Oh, you want to fight or whatever?" And then Jack throws another snowball at him. So he's like, now him and his crew of 7th graders or whatever, they start the snowball fight, and then Jack seemingly now has superpowers, which there was never any indication before that where he could throw snowballs at lightning speed. And
he's throwing them like he's one of those those things that batters use when they those pitching machines or something.
Training
and so this is where we get into the child abuse.
Because he's
Jack, who's technically I guess an adult, is abusing children by throwing these snowballs at them really hard.
Really hard. They're going 90, 100 miles per hour, if not more than that, hitting them in the face multiple occasions. Which, especially if that's an ice ball, that could break your nose, cause
That's another sequel where Jack Frost doesn't go away in the end, and he actually just moves to Alaska and becomes a minor league baseball pitcher.
Yeah, well, there you go. And then where so it's cold, and then because we'll get to that point later on too about the cold factor in this brilliant movie. And then we get like a snowboard scene that goes on for like 5 minutes, like total 1990s snowboard type of thing where they chase well, at one point, Charlie almost falls off a cliff.
That one bothered me. Okay, so he almost falls off this cliff before this happened, before the snowboarding aspect.
Yeah,
and he's like hanging there, and there are several kids on the other side looking down at him. They're all none of them do shit.
Nope.
They're all just gonna let this kid die.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck?
Why not? I mean, why not? Everything else in this movie is so stupid. Yeah. Oh God. Oh boy. And then so Papa Frost saves him by like bouncing off of his sleigh or whatever sled.
Yeah.
He catches Charlie midair, and then he breaks the fall by landing first. And then the kids, the bullies, then start chasing him down on their really cool snowboards. They look like they were just bought that day or like a half hour previous to this. And then so Jack puts Charlie on his sled or whatever, and they have like this totally sick snowboard scene with like cool rock music playing, and whizzing through trees and pine trees and stuff like that. At one point, the bully ends up like running into like a pine tree needles on his crotch or whatever, so that probably hurt. That's another child abuse right there, weaving a certain way to make the kid run into that, you're strategically, maneuvering your snowboard in order for him to do that, which again, where did he get all these abilities? Like I thought he just becomes a snowman. How is he now having magical powers?
I guess that's part of the deal. I don't know.
But we only see it one time. So it was like he used it all up in one scene. And then, because he had the snowball throwing. Oh, at one point he said when he's throwing, that's the other thing too. So like, the thing I can't understand, I mean, again, none of this movie you can really understand, but like, is that it almost seems like Jack's personality changed once he became the snowman. Like,
it's almost like he was a child in certain ways.
Yeah, because at one point when he's throwing these ice balls at like 200 miles per hour and potentially causing lifelong injuries to these children, and he says something like, "I'm the Wizard of Winter" or something like that, or the Wizard of Wonder. I was gonna write it down, but I forgot to. But it was like the Wizard of something. And then so they had this really cool snowboard thing, and then they successfully escape the bullies. And they go to like this like secret little like cave or whatever that like Charlie does like his magic spells with or something. I don't know. And then it's like a secluded cave, and they're standing on ice, which hopefully the ice doesn't crack and they all fall and drown. And then
I think this was the moment where he called him Charlie Boy.
Yes, was when he called him Charlie.
Oh, but before that, though, my second favorite line or part of dialogue in the film was said. Charlie says to him, "You the man."
Oh God.
And Jack responds, "No, I'm the snowman."
Yeah. I wonder if Michael Keaton's embarrassed by this movie.
I would be.
Because you gotta think, the movie right before this that he made, maybe he made one in between, but 96, he was in Multiplicity.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time. And 2 years later, Jack Frost. So
he was in so right before this, he was in Out of Sight, which is a good movie. We're starring George Clooney. He was in Desperate Measures, which was a decent movie. Jackie Brown, because he played the same character in Jackie Brown and Out of Sight. Inventing the Abbots, and then Multiplicity. So
a lot of movies in that time period.
And then after that, he went into a movie. He has a small role in a movie called Body Shots, which is like some teen 90s thing. Looks like he was a small part in a movie called A Shot at Glory in 2002. It's like he didn't do anything for a little bit there.
Yeah.
It's like his career kind of went downhill after this movie for a little bit.
Yeah, then he did Birdman like in 2014.
Yeah, well, that was a while later, but I mean, he ended up coming back after, there was a few other movies that were decent, but he ended up doing things like after this movie, it's like things like First Daughter with Katie Holmes, where he played the president, and Herbie Fully Loaded and shit like that, so. So something happened. Anyways,
I think Jack Frost is what did it.
yeah.
Jack Frost is what happened.
So yeah. Anyways, they start to bond, the two of them, and and the mom gets worried. But while they're on this ice thing too, though, he teaches him this really cool hockey trick or something using sticks and a stone.
And what was it called? The shot. What shot was it? It's the Oh, I forgot the name of the shot. Yes, he was gonna teach him this. At the end of the day, he went into the studio when he missed his son's hockey game, and he kept begging him to stay for like a few minutes longer. But Mac was the real bad guy in this one, because Mac is the one that kept calling them to go in the car to make it to the studio on time, and so he was pressuring his best friend, to not time with his son, and so that's Mac's fault right there.
That's probably why Mac ends up becoming like a father figure to him, anyways. So,
yeah. So that he gets to be the good guy when he was the bad guy. So that's nice, I guess. He his friend got.
I wanted to see the movie end up where he ended up with Kelly Preston's character, Gabby, where Mac ended up with her at the end, and like they could have had this scene where Jack was like, and I want you to take care of my wife, and
as he's melting. Yeah. He's like, I don't have much time.
I want you to take care of my wife. I want you to marry her, and I want you to give her good loving. Oh wait, what?
And then Mac's like, he's like, Jack, I'm gay. I told you this like. You always forget everything. All you think about is yourself.
Remember that time you tried to hook me up with your sister? That didn't work. Remember? I liked your brother more. Wait.
Yeah, come on. How many times do I have to tell you? Anyway, so he teaches him this I wish I could think it was called the something shot. I don't remember what. And then Charlie finally figures it out, I guess. And he's like, yay, great bonding experience. No, awesome. Oh, what else happens?
So then he ends up like, he realizes that the snowman is his dad there, of course, and he reconnects with him and is happy that he's got his dad in his life again and everything, but he can't tell his mom there. Like there's a scene like where his mom's coming home, he's in the kitchen getting him food. That just doesn't make sense to me. So snowmen have to eat.
Yeah, because he said he was really hungry.
Yeah.
So
so he fed him like a bunch of frozen peas and stuff. It's.
And then, where's the digestive system? Where does the come from? Where does it go? Where's the pee come from? Nothing. No explanation. And then,
does it turn into yellow snow that you're not supposed to eat, or what?
Well, because we are talking, for example, let's see, here. So, that's Frank episode. So, and goddamn, and then, which I don't understand. Why couldn't he tell his mom?
Yeah.
Like, it's, there's some movies, right, where a thing comes to life, like a object or toy or whatever, and then only one person can hear this person talk because it doesn't talk in front of anyone else. But in this movie, it talks. For example, Henry Rollins' character sees this, and it talks to him, and he freaks out. And
well, I mean, it's something like the whole like Mac and Me or E.T. sort of thing too, where like, you want to hide the thing from your mom or something, but it doesn't make sense in this situation.
Because why would you want to hide her husband, because talk to her, who knows, maybe, he would tell her nickname, which would be Gab Girl or something like that. Like, oh, I know it's my husband, just like this most generic nickname you can think of. And then, but no.
Gabby Gal.
Or Gabby Gal, or something like that. Oh, you are Jack. I can't believe it, or whatever. And then like Charlie, go hang out with Mac for a while, and then like they go make love, and
and then he melts from the passion.
He melts, and his bed's completely soaked,
and all that's left is like his head, and she's just like, we always did want a waterbed.
Oh, yeah. Then Charlie comes out. Why did you do to that? Holy sad left. No,
I'd rather watch that movie. Anyway, so
that would be. Oh God! And then and so he puts Jack in the closet. The floor's all wet, so she's like, "What the hell's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, it's some science project about whatever."
What it's like to live in an igloo or something. It's just like, oh
yeah,
really.
What is that? make any sense. Okay, and then Luis got the windows open, shit, just fucking up the heating bill by blowing in the cold air and shit like that. And then she opens the closet to get out like a mop, and then he screams at her so she doesn't see giant snowman just staring at her. And then he starts just hanging out with his dad and taking him everywhere, talking to him in front of people. People are like, why is he talking to the snowman?
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. I would think he'd be more discreet about this, but no, he's just talking to him.
And everybody's worried about him, especially his mom and Mac are like, thinking that the kid's like lost it, and it's like, get the kid therapy then or something. But
no point where I guess this is 1998, so I guess
it
wasn't it.
But even like there's a scene like where he ends up deciding that he wants to, because he had quit the hockey team and he decides that he wants to play. So the Henry Rollins and has got his dad minivan, and he's picking up the girl from across the street or whatever, and because I guess she's on the team, and he tries to talk. He asks if he can be back on the team, and it's up to the teammates to decide, and they say yeah. But then he's going over there and he's talking to his dad.
Yeah, they can see
it. The snowman, like they're like 20 feet away. It's like,
and they're even talking about the fact that he's talking to the snowman. Like they know that he's doing it.
At that point, if I were Henry Rollins, I'd be like, we're going to the ice rink. Yes, we are. Yeah, yeah. It may look like the hospital, but we're going to.
Things too. So this would only vindicate Henry Rollins. I just called him. I don't know his character's name. I just keep calling him Henry Rollins.
It's Sid Gronick.
At this point, what's his name?
Sid Gronick.
So at this point, Sid, keeps saying like, "Don't mention the snowman. I told you, no snowman talking here." But then it's like, so they're talking about Charlie talking to a snowman, and he himself has experience where he. So it's like he should have put two and two together and be like, "Oh, I'm not going crazy." Because there is another person who's talking to the snowman. It's almost like this snowman's real, and I did lose my mind. But no, we don't get any of that. And then, but why should we expect that we would?
Oh yeah,
there's no deep meaning behind this. That's the other thing too. There's like some like what was that phrase you always say? Kill your darlings or something like.
Oh yeah.
There's like really interesting deep scenes in this movie that do not belong in this movie.
No,
like when he makes the snowman, they're playing like Fleetwood and Mac, some really depressing song.
They play Landslide by Fleetwood Mac with with Stevie Nicks singing. Yeah, and it's just like, what the heck?
It's really sad as he's building a snowman, and then the rest of the movie is just this weird Disney Channel fever dream. And
Fleetwood Mac, though, that's another band that changed lead singers several times. So, anyways,
yeah, that's another way. Oh my god.
Oh boy. But yeah, anyway, so
what else happens? Yeah,
he's going to the game, and Jack wants to go to the game. So how did he get there again?
He wanted his dog, which is a tiny dog.
Yeah, it's like a small like what is it, like a Jack Russell or something, like it's really small.
Yeah.
It's like
pull him, I guess.
Yeah, across town to the ice rink.
And I guess the dog came with him. Maybe not. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then
somehow he gets there, and then he has to. And by the way, this is like, is this still like Christmas Day, or when is this? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So no, this is near Christmas, but there was a heat wave going on, and so melting.
Okay, so yeah, that, which makes no sense. Yeah. It's like in Colorado where it's normally kind of cold that time of year and everything. It's all of a sudden going to be like 75 degrees out or something. And it's just like, but then again, global warming and whatnot. So
maybe they slipped in like global warming propaganda in the Jack Frost movie to go like, oh, hey, it's going to be 70 degrees out. No, they wouldn't think that far ahead.
But then again, it's like 30 something today, and 2 days ago it was like 60 degrees out.
Yeah, very true. So far it's been very mild.
So
yeah.
So anyways, he has to cross this like blacktop that's like really like the tar of the blacktop's getting hot from the sun, and which I don't think really happens in the 70s, but that's just anyway. So
it doesn't, but for him it does because he's
So he slides across the parking lot and ends up in the rink, and he gets to see Charlie play. And so then now they need to try to figure out a way to get him somewhere cold. And then they remember the cabin, which isn't that far away, but it's up on this big tall mountain in Colorado there. And so they try to find a way there. They run into the bully, and they have a scene where, you know, he explains to him that that's his dad and blah, blah, blah. And the bully says my favorite line in the whole movie.
Oh, God, I know what you're going to say.
Snow dad is better than no dad.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat that. Snow dad is better than no dad.
Yep.
That was some great writing by one of the 4 people that wrote the screenplay. So
I almost think that they started writing lines sarcastically because they couldn't even take their own movie seriously.
Yeah.
So they probably wrote that to make fun of those type of lines, and then they put it in anyway.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that makes sense. It's a good line. Let's throw that in there. Snow dad, better than no dad. God. And then you're the man. I'm the snowman. Oh my God. And then
and at the same time, George Clooney's off filming a movie where there's got a lot of similar lines in it, said by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Exactly. Oh, what was one of the lines? I don't remember.
I don't even know, but they were all snow and ice puns done by Mr. Freeze. It was just
it was one thing was so like, are you freezing me out or something? I don't know, whatever.
Stupid shit like that. Makes me wonder, do the same people write the lines? No. Anyways.
They might have. Who knows?
Yeah. So anyways, he ends up getting into the back of this truck somehow. The bully helps him into it, and then they end up at the cabin, spend the night there or whatever. And Gabby's like obviously like worried. She doesn't know where her kid is, but she ends up finding out that he's at the cabin somehow. I don't even remember how.
Jack called her from the
Oh yeah, that's right.
phone. He's like, that should have been that could have been into like a different plot. Like, Charlie's safe, he's sleeping. Like, I am you know, type of thing.
Some guy just called and told me my kid's sleeping. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You should come pick him up. It's like, whoa. And then
yeah. So so they're at the cabin. Jack's outside in the yard, you know, doing his snowman shit. And Gabby arrives, and after Jack and Charlie had a conversation, and Jack basically tells him, and you know, it's time to leave. You know, I got to leave this mortal coil. Yeah, he doesn't say that, but you know,
yeah.
When Gabby arrives, for a minute there, the snowman like outside disappears, and you get to see this like ghostly visage of Michael Keaton.
And Jack, in his human form.
Yeah, and he says farewell to both of them, and, you know, says he loves them and blah, 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 and goes back to the afterlife. Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
And almost no music in this movie from the former band.
And you get to see these different... Oh, you do see a scene where Mac is, like, playing the piano and looks happy towards the end.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So what I don't get, though, is why can't he just come back every time Charlie plays the harmonica?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, can you
got magical properties, and
I mean, even Frosty the Snowman can come back every winter.
Yeah, and so why, you know, so like, was his soul like in some sort of purgatory this whole time, and that's how he was able?
We don't know where he was that whole year before he became.
Yeah, so does the afterlife have like a waiting period kind of thing where you're like kind of stuck in limbo for a year, and you're like, oh, now it's time, or maybe it's like that in Second Chance type TV show where, you know, you gotta step on some little lever and then it lets you know if you go to hell or heaven or whatever.
Yeah.
And then who knows? There may have been a different version of this movie where Jack hangs out with Gaddafi, you know, kind of suicide bomb vest that blows up every 2 minutes or whatever. It's punishment. He's like, oh, I didn't do anything that bad. I just, you know, didn't show up to my son's hockey game or whatever.
That's just as bad.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
No. So other people considered for roles in this movie, Jake Lloyd, who played Anakin in The Phantom Menace, was considered for the role of Charlie. Also, this I don't know if I buy this because so it says before Michael Keaton was cast as Jack Frost, other actors considered were Jack Lemmon, who was pretty old at that time, Harold Ramis, Danny DeVito. This is according to IMDb. Somebody must have just made this shit up, I think. And Tom Welling, who at the time I think was on Smallville as Clark Kent, a teenager.
Yeah, so I think someone made this up.
Yeah, I'm looking at that and I'm like, there's no way that in the consideration for the same role is going to be Jack Lemmon and Tom Welling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I believe the Mel Gibsons and the Tim Allens and the Kurt Russells and whatnot, but I don't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it on that. Any other thoughts about this?
No, not really.
Yeah, I can't wait for the sequel.
I would probably watch it
Just
as a joke or just something. I don't know. And then
they should make a sequel.
they should. Michael Keaton could reprise his role. This time he's a grandfather because at this point,
Yeah.
Charlie has his own family. I don't know. And then they're like, oh yeah. So what it will be is like, so Charlie, kind of has like some stuff packed away, and like the harmonica's one of them, and then Charlie's son, who he calls Charlie Boy, that's like his actual name. And so Charlie Boy is like kind of just rummaging around. So Charlie Boy is like, because it's near Christmas, okay? So he's kind of like sneaking in the parents' bedroom, like see what they got for Christmas, kind of thing. And he's like rummaging around to the closet. And then like, as he's like trying to reach up to see like a big present, and then like a bunch of stuff falls down, and then like one of the boxes is like the harmonica, and then the box kind of like opens up as it melts down.
Yeah, it's got the harmonica and the hat and the scarf.
Yeah, and so then he picks up the harmonica, and he puts on the hat, and then he puts on the scarf, and then he plays the harmonica. But this time, then Jack takes over the body of his grandson because the hat and scarf. So then it's like a Freaky Friday type situation where so Charlie Boy is not like a spirit floating around or whatever.
Oh, this is a disturbing film. Anyway, so
Really disturbing. And then he keeps going, Charlie Boy. And he's like, yeah, I know your name's Charlie Boy. That's why I named you. Why do you keep saying your name? And it's like, so it doesn't really work at first,
And the name of the movie is Jack Frost 2, I Am My Own Grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, so like the whole point when it's like, Charlie, has already made peace and stuff like that. So in this movie, it's not so much of like trying to like reconnect with his dad. Now it's for both trying to figure out like, how do we get Charlie Boy's spirit back into his own body? That's like the new MacGuffin type of thing, And so like, most of the movies really, most of the movie takes place during Christmas time, but it's not really, it's not really about snowman. At one point they find a bunch of snowmen to see if like Charlie Boy is in any of those, but they're not. They're just regular snowmen. And then at one point they go back to the cave where he taught him how to do that shot or whatever, the hockey shot. And unfortunately, at this point, this is like, it takes place in like the 2030s. And so global warming has done its thing. So there's really not much ice anymore. And so they're pretty much just like wading through the water, and, potentially getting hypothermia from the cold water. Because the water's still cold. It's cold water because it's still in Colorado. But, it's not ice. And then they basically start learning how to do like practice like dark magic and stuff like that, and maybe hopefully that could like summon Charlie Boy's spirit back into his own body. Jack can then go back into the afterlife. Everything's great, but we'll see how that turns out.
It turns out in the end that actually Charlie Boy's been inside of a Slurpee the whole time, and
a
special Christmas Slurpee from the 7-Eleven down the street, and
no one's drunk, so he's still there. And then,
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm in like a weird mood today.
Me too. So, anyways, folks, if you want to make sure your dad doesn't end up a snowman, you might want to check out our T-Public. I'm thinking of creating some new merch based on this movie.
Good.
We may have a Snow Dad is better than Snow Dad T-shirt coming soon.
I'm the snowman.
Yeah. Yeah, give us a couple weeks, and I might have that up in the T-Public. Keep an eye out for that. Also, if you want to help support the show, check out our our Patreon. Go to all2real2.com. All the links are in there. You can listen to the show on anywhere you find podcasts. Here, of course, wherever you're listening to this. I don't know. Share it with your friends. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you can do that. I don't know which platforms allow reviews, but the best way to do, like, if what you're listening to doesn't allow the review, just go to Apple and give us a review there. It really helps the show. It's something you can do for absolutely nothing. It takes you like 2 minutes, you know. Also, check out the charities that we have in the show notes. There's a lot of good charities that can help out people in the world today that are suffering. And just remember one thing, that Snow Dad is better than no dad, and All Too Real 2 podcast is better than no podcast. And I love you. Sesame loves you. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.